talk about the wild card weekend, and let's start with the first game that's going to be going on. Should be a fun one. The Seattle Seahawks, the dream season with Geno Smith. We're talking about awards, comeback player of the year, right? I mean, that's comeback player of the year.
Geno Smith?
Yeah.
Was he injured last year?
No, but I mean, he was a perennial backup, and then now all of a sudden now he has an opportunity to start.
Usually comeback player of the year goes to an injured player that comes back from an injury.
Okay, maybe most improved. Is there a most improved player? I don't know. He deserves some sort of a participation award.
Yeah, he did really well this year. 30 touchdowns.
They are going to San Francisco, NFC West divisional matchup. As great as I think we could compliment Seattle and how it's like great to be here type moment, should have been in the top 5 picking overall, even though they are, but thanks to the Broncos. I don't think this is going to be much of a game. It's amazing to me, and going back to Kyle Shanahan, this is where I do give him a lot of props, is the fact that he has an offensive system where it is a plug and play type system, even at the quarterback position. You know, you get able to just make the right decisions. But that also being said, the Brock Purdy makes some hell of a throws. He had a touchdown pass, I think, to George Kittle this past week, who is also amazing. And it was a great throw. Back pylon, only George Kittle could catch it. I mean, it was just a solid throw. To me, I don't really think there's even too much conversation here. But San Francisco is going to win, I think, by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, I agree. San Francisco has not lost since October.
Jeez, who'd they lose to?
Kansas City, and actually Atlanta were their last 2 losses.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, they lost to Kansas City on October 23rd. And
what was the score of that game?
44-23.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was Christian McCaffrey's kind of – is that the first game after he got traded?
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't really do too much that game, and it's well, he's done a lot since that game.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That to me, even I haven't even I kind of forgot about Deebo Samuel, shockingly, because I know he had the high ankle sprain, somehow did not break his leg in that tackle. But I think he's coming back, or should be close to being back, if he's not already back. But Brock Purdy's taking up so much of the spotlight. McCaffrey's taking up so much of the spotlight. George Kittle has been playing well.
Brandon Ayuk has been playing extremely well.
Brandon Ayuk has been playing really well.
Deebo he did play.
He did play.
He had 1 rush for 4 yards, 2 catches for 20 yards.
Like he was their star player last year, rightfully so. And it's amazing. And not that I don't think he's regressed. I just think it's that everyone else has also started to play really well. Where like it's just diluted all of his stats.
Yeah.
Now George Kittle is just getting all the stats. McCaffrey now I'm sure is taking a bunch of his rushing yards.
Brandon
Ayuk has really stepped up.
Yeah. I mean, I think stepped up might be an understatement. I want to say he's a 1,200-yard receiver this season. Like,
he really stepped up.
Yeah.
He didn't just step up. He stepped up. He stepped up 3.
Receiving, 78 catches. Oh, just over 1,000.
Well, that's still really good. I mean, that's a good season. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that'll be for me. That'll be just kind of a nice little appetizer, I think, for going into the season. I talked highly about San Francisco. San Francisco's going to win this game through great defense, consistent offense, not making mistakes. It's overall better talent.
Yeah,
I think we can agree. Better coach. I think we can agree on that. How does Seattle win this game?
Honestly, I think if it just turns into an absolute shootout, because one of the things that like we haven't seen Brock Purdy really do is push the ball like far downfield. It's a lot of making teams chase sideline to sideline, right? That's why they run all these like jet sweeps to Deebo Samuel, these like little screen passes, Christian McCaffrey. It's just so much of making teams chase them. And then eventually they miss a tackle. And then you have hat on a hat or like one-on-one blocking and you bust a long one. That's and then San Francisco's also running the ball better than just about any team in the NFL at the moment. And frankly, I think if Seattle wants to win, they have to win like a 42-38 type of game and really make San Francisco have to push the ball down the field into their defense. So one of the things I saw Tariq Woolen is hurt and might not play. That will cripple any chance I think that the Seahawks have if he does not play, because I mean, he's been one of the best corners in the league this year as a rookie, and if you don't have that guy, they're going to run rampant on you.
Yeah.
So
for me, you're talking about 42-38 type game. Has the 49ers given up 49ers given up 30 points this year? I mean, because we know Brock Purdy can put up 35 points.
Yeah, they gave up 44 to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, I guess you just said that, yeah.
And then, okay. So since that game, they gave up 14, 16, 10, 0, 17, 7, 13, 20, 34 to the Raiders, led by Jarrett Stidham, and then 13 last week. So
yeah, what a weird Jarrett Stidham had. That's what a weird game.
Sometimes I think you see that.
Yeah. So it's and Seahawks have the firepower to do that, led by DK Metcalf. Kenneth Walker is back. But
Tyler Lockett. That's
and Tyler Lockett as well. Was Kenneth Walker back when they played the 49ers? Okay.
Oh, no. He was out last time they played.
And that was when they clinched the division.
Yeah. But I think he came back the next week.
Yeah. Even though with all that there, it's like I'm not saying it's a pipe dream, but man, it's pretty close. I mean, the 49ers look legit. If we talked a lot about the Eagles and Dallas earlier in this episode, and I think the 49ers might be the most well-rounded team. Like, if someone's picking them to win the Super Bowl right now, I do not blame them at all. Like, they are that. I think they're that, even with Brock Purdy and everything. So, yeah.
That's what I was going to do.
Yeah. Would not be surprised. Oh, are we going through every single game? Like, or are we just doing wild
I was going to do our conference picks, who we think is going to come out of the conference.
Okay, that works.
And so, like, do our playoff bracket, I guess, and pick who's coming out of the playoffs.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so we both have San Francisco.
And then next, switching over to the AFC. Or do you want to do all the NFC games?
No, let's just go in order of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, switching over to the AFC. This one I'm very excited for. We have the Chargers traveling to Florida to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, wow. Like, the Jaguars were a team we kind of talked about. I remember when we were looking at the divisions at the beginning of the year, and we were like, are there any teams in the AFC that could really surprise you? And it was like, I mean, not really, because when you look at all the divisions, each division had 3 teams that could theoretically win the division and like wouldn't be that astronomical. But then when you got to the AFC South, you looked at that and you're like, well, the Colts are by far the best team. The Titans look like they're going on a skid. And it's like the Jaguars and the Texans are still rebuilding. But we kind of said something similar about the Bengals last season. And now I think the Jaguars are doing it. So I'm really interested to hear what you think is going to happen in this one.
To me, I have a feeling these two teams are going to be meeting a lot over the next decade. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence type teams. If we're just talking about overall momentum, though, Jacksonville had to go on a 6-game winning streak, right, to get to this point. I think Evan Ingram is playing well. I'm not really sure who's going to be guarding him. Trevor Lawrence, I think, needs to work a little bit on his accuracy. But if he could, I mean, we've seen him have some great games where he is just on point.
Picked it up in the second half.
He has picked it up a bunch. His great connection with Zay Jones. Christian Kirk is absolutely proving like that his contract and everyone that said like, why are you spending so much money on this guy, has been absolutely worth it. And so for me, I'm picking Jacksonville in this one. To me, I've seen Los Angeles just go cold on offense enough. I think this Jaguars defense is good enough to kind of stop them. If Mike Williams doesn't play, because I think he has back spasms as well that he got in the last game. So, but it's going to be a fun game. This was when I saw this matchup, this was the one like I was looking forward to this being. I was looking forward to this game. I'm glad it's a Saturday night type game.
Yeah. I'm picking Jacksonville as well. If it was a healthy LA team versus a healthy Jacksonville team, I would probably swing the other way. However, on a level playing field in Jacksonville, I think Brandon Staley is going to make one or two crucial decisions that will cripple the Chargers here. Yeah. I don't trust him. I think he gets over aggressive. And
this is one actually. I think Doug Peterson's experience, I think, might
help a lot.
Yeah, might help out a lot. Help calm down his young quarterback. It's going to be, and so being at home, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to this game. I have Jacksonville winning this game as well.
I do too. I think it'll be close. I think a 27-24 type game. No,
I definitely think it'll be going back and forth for sure.
So yeah, but up next, let's stick in the AFC here really quick. Dolphins, Bills. It sounds like Skylar Thompson is going to be starting for the Dolphins. Bills only playing 16 games this year. I mean, I think it's pretty apparent that the Bills are just going to push them around.
Yeah, I also think too, if it's another cold Bills game, I think that it's going to be. Yeah, I just think this is another one to match. I think even though the Bills, it was a tight one when they last played. That was with Tua, and I think that was about as good of a game that Miami could have played. And they're not healthy now, especially if Tua doesn't come back. Also, if you have Teddy Bridgewater that comes in, I still don't think that that's going to be enough to give them a huge advantage. Needed to keep an eye on Tyreek Hill and his ankle. We'll have to see that this is Monday when we are recording this, so we'll have to see kind of what his health is looking like.
All these games looked like they're within one score. Oh no, 49ers are 10-point favorites, but Buffalo is a 10.5-point favorite over Miami. And I think that's about right. I think this is a 35-14 just blowout type of game.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, to me, there's nothing I think that really keeps this close.
No. So. Yeah. I also think too, just with everything in the situation, DeMar Hamlin now is back in Buffalo. I think he will be in attendance at the game. It's not to go down the emotional storybook route of it all, but it does seem that it is going to be kind of like things are going in the right direction for Buffalo for this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Up next, going back over to the NFC, the New York Football Giants are going to be traveling to Minneapolis, Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Vikings are 3-point favorites. This is a really interesting one. They played 3 weeks ago, and the Vikings won off of a 61-yard field goal as the time expired. Do you think that's something that the Vikings can do again, is win a close game against the Giants? Because honestly, it feels like the Giants have just been winning close game after close game all year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, but so has Minnesota. Minnesota has had so many
that's true.
Victories. Yeah. This is going to be a great game. I mean, Brian Dable has that offense, all the injuries considered, has this offense going around and just able to put up points. His defense is playing well. Kayvon Thibodeau was a great pick. He is, so far his rookie year, he has been getting after the quarterback. And that's one thing that the Minnesota really struggles with, actually, is a team that has a good pass rush because their offensive line is not as elite as they should be, essentially. We saw Kayvon Thibodeau's definitely picked it up. We saw it in the Washington game, and we saw it against who was the game that they played next? There's one more. It might have been the Colts, I think, when they played, but just get absolutely after the quarterback. And he's been on a hot streak as well. To me, I think with all the game film, now you have Brian Dable as well, being able to see what this Minnesota Vikings defense shows and how to attack it. Daniel Jones has been playing really well. He's going to have a lot to prove. Saquon Barkley as well. And I think the Giants are going to win this game. I think they're going to pull an upset.
Yeah. My picks.
Oh, sorry, man. My bad. Sorry. I think the Giants are going to win this game. I think Minnesota is going to continue to keep being heartbroken.
Yeah, I agree. There's something about this Vikings team that just they seem a little phony to me. They got blown out by the Cowboys. They had a really close game with the Patriots, who, in my opinion, were like an average team this year. And then they just got blown out by Green Bay, who also did make the playoffs.
Well, what's interesting too about Green Bay is they don't really have that elite of a pass rush, which is why it was interesting because the teams that they had gotten blown out or struggled with had an elite front four, and they don't really have that. And so that's why it was interesting to see them just get absolutely decimated.
And it's like they should have lost to the Colts if it wasn't for the biggest collapse in regular season history.
Yeah.
And then like they had to kick a 61-yarder against the Giants to win. So it's like
should have lost to Buffalo. Like,
they should have lost to Buffalo. Like there's a lot that has happened this year that just kind of fell in the favor of the Vikings, and I just don't think it happens again. Because if you rely on luck in the playoffs, you get embarrassed, and I don't think the Giants will embarrass them, but I think they will definitely out physical them.
Yeah,
and so I'm picking the Giants as well. So I think it's a 23-17 type of game.
Okay, so I can see that. That's the type of game that the Giants normally play. And with their defense playing better, I think that I think they can slow down Justin Jefferson and that offense. So moving on though now to the Sunday night game, which if I'm not mistaken should be the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes,
correct. Yeah. These teams just played. We don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to play. It's funny. I heard that Lamar Jackson's likely should be good for the playoffs. Well, they said that he likely should be good for week 16, week 17, week 18, and he still has not played.
Yeah.
So maybe if that was just a ploy, just to rest him. But that being said, I don't think that's going to be that big of a difference for even if Lamar Jackson plays. That offense has just been struggling. The defense, I think, cannot stop Baltimore. Cannot stop Cincinnati at all. So Cincinnati, I think they're going to blow them out again. I think it's going to be probably a similar game. I think it was 28-17. I think it'll probably be
27-16.
Go 27-16.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it'll probably, but I'll say 28-17.
Yeah. I think it'll be something similar. Cincinnati's a 6.5-point favorite. I think they cover. And it's for me, they stepped off the gas and they put up 27 in the first 40 minutes of football, I think.
Yeah.
And it's so if they have to play a full 60 minutes, they definitely could, and put up a 40-50 burger on the Ravens. So I think it'll be interesting, but I'm going with Joe Burrow and the Bengals here. That wraps up the AFC. So that would put the Jaguars at Kansas City in the divisional round, and then the Bengals at Buffalo. Controversial game there, but I guess it is what it is. You got to play with the cards you're dealt, right?
Yeah.
So let's wrap up the NFC and wildcard weekend here with the Cowboys traveling to the Buccaneers. This is a really interesting game. Cowboys have not looked as good the last few weeks as they would hope. And I would like nothing more to see Dak Prescott and the Cowboys be eliminated. And that's what I think is going to happen. Interesting fact, Dak Prescott has never beaten Tom Brady. I think he's 0 for 5. And sounds like center Ryan Jansen is coming back for the Buccaneers. And I just think this Buccaneers team is a really tough matchup for Dallas. They're fast sideline to sideline, and a lot of what Dallas likes to do is spread you out wide and then beat you deep down the middle. And I just don't think that Tampa Bay is going to be the team to fall for that, as well as I think this defense, while has an elite pass rush, is open to a lot of miscommunications and miscues that allow bigger plays for teams. So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick Tampa Bay, but I agree as well, especially if Ryan Jansen's coming back. Just for me, the inconsistency of of Dallas, and then even this last performance as well that they had against Washington, where it was kind of a must-win game for them to have any shot of winning the division, and they just didn't show up. Maybe they just didn't even care or something. But I think being at home in Tampa, I think the Bucs offense has kind of fixed some woes a little bit from what we've seen, starting to find somewhat of a rhythm. Yes, they lost to the Falcons last week, but I also too wonder how much of that they were trying. I wonder if they were just trying to stay in rhythm while on defense maybe. But actually, and I'll say Atlanta's offense actually had been kind of picking things up a little bit as well. So, but at home, it's tough to go against Tom Brady in January. Maybe this is the last game of his in Tampa Bay, but I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be Tampa Bay winning as well.